Hey everyone, I'm Miranda and I'm part of the campus community team. This is the place where we commune and connect in Christ through Christ-like conversations. Come, let's get right into it.
So right now we're going to move into a live Q&A session, all right? So this means that all of you guys will get to ask questions. If you have any questions, you can raise your hand. Sam at the back, she will come and pass the mic to you. So you got to introduce yourself, your name, what you're doing now, and state your question, all right? Okay, so if you have any questions, yeah.
Oh, there's one there.
Your one up the front.
Yeah. Can stand up and introduce yourself and say what you're studying.
Okay, I'm Zoe and I'm studying graphic design.
Cool.
And I'll enter my internship in January. So I just really want to ask, like, how do I deal with imposter syndrome?
So real.
What's imposter syndrome? Actually?
Yeah, sorry, I had to look at you and explain for an old uncle like me.
Not that old lah. Okay lah.
I'm not sure if this is like the most accurate definition, right? But in short, it's basically like feeling as if you're not good enough in spite of evidence pointing to the contrary.
Okay.
Yeah, I could take this one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Imposter syndrome, everybody feels it to some extent, especially when we're going into a new thing. It's sort of like you feel when, how do I describe the feeling? When you guys when we go into a new, let's say, into a new job, right? Or into a new university, and you don't really feel like you're fitting in, but you sort of have to feel outwardly that you're forcing yourself to feel like you're fitting in, or I'm having so much fun, or I know exactly what I'm talking about, right? But inside you're like, I have no idea what I'm doing, I have no idea what I'm saying, right? There's a sense of, that's not the most scientific explanation, and you can Google it, right? It's a thing, and there's all sorts of training on it as well. So I think one thing to acknowledge is it never really goes away, Zoe. And I would suggest that in times where we do feel that, that's something that we can take to God, right? God, why am I feeling this way? How do I deal with it? It might be pointing to an insecurity. Like for me, I felt a very strong need to achieve from a very, very, very young age. Number one in class, or number two, I can kind of accept. Number three, fine, still got the medal, still got the trophy, right? I remember I got number 4 one year, and I was devastated, right? For me, it was a huge identity thing. No, really. One time I got 8 out of 10, David, and I cried. I cried as if I failed.
Terrible, right?
Yes.
I got like 100 out of 300, I was happy lah.
And for me, I had to work through that, right? And over the years, I mean, it's better now, right? But I realized sometimes there's a fear of, am I good enough, right? Am I going to meet the expectations I set for myself? Sometimes some of the expectation is kind of healthy, it kind of spurs us on to do better. But sometimes it leads to an insecurity that should not be there. Maybe I'm putting my identity in something else. Maybe I need to learn how to rest in God a little bit more. So test it, right, Zoe? And all the best for your internship.
Well, very quickly, I think it's just, I just want to also understand, are you afraid of what your peers might think when you go into that space? Or are you uncertain about what your boss might think?
Okay, so for context, luckily I got an internship at a major agency, so I'm quite happy about that, like Chris got.
Yeah.
But I think part of me is just afraid that I won't be able to meet expectations.
Right. Okay. I think when you talk about expectations, some of it's about asking clear questions. Exactly what are you wanting me to do? Are you just wanting me to just churn out, add copy 1, 2, 3, 4, or what are you looking for? And I think this is something. So we were just talking about this before this. We were preparing, right? We observe that a lot of times in the Asian culture, we go to a meeting with our bosses. The bosses will talk. Then we come out of the meeting. Then we go for lunch and we complain to our colleagues or our friends, right? We go group class or whatever. We complain, this is what happened, blah, blah. But I think sometimes it's about asking then and say, okay, boss, you want us to do this, but can you just let us know what really is the more important thing that you want to focus on first? I know it takes a bit of bravery or something like that, but I think sometimes it's about asking, okay, let me ask some clarifying questions. I'm not, trying to rock the boat here or anything, but I just want to know what is it that you're, so I can know how to focus solely on what you want done. Yeah.
I think it's practical. Yeah. So basically ask questions of like, okay, what is expected of me in this internship? What would you like me to do? What does success look like? And then along the way, ask for feedback, right? We talk a lot about real-time feedback. You don't want to wait until the end of the year or the end of the internship. How did you find that? What could be improved? And you find what builds our confidence is little wins, right? Oh, Zoe, you did that. You wrote that up really well, right? Or I really like that sample. I really like that idea. And it kind of grows that confidence in us, which is good for us as well.
Yeah, just very quick example. So when I was when I was working in an ad agency for a while, one of my clients was Telecom Malaysia, TM. And I was in the same, but I was more on the planning side, so not the graphic, so not the creative side, if you understand the agency thing. And we went into a pitch together, so we were coming up with a strategy and everything, but another agency was coming up with more of the creatives and all that. But what was happening was client wasn't very certain about what they wanted. So everybody was, because we had a clear direction as strategists, what we want to do. But the creative people were like, maybe this, maybe that. And then, so they took a while. We went to so they said, okay, take a break. We went to the airwell. Wow, I've never heard all the Chinese swear words before. Chinese, Malay, everything come out because the agencies those guys were cursing away.
Any examples you want to share?
No. It's really deleted, control or delete.
Don't say them here.
Yeah. So I think in those moments, then you realize maybe if they actually ask what is it that you really want, then I think it will save us all a lot of time. And I think, hopefully that answers your question. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Zoe. Any other questions on the floor? Or if you have more, you can scan this up. Oh, there's one over there. The one in the stripes. Oh.
Hi, my name is Joash. I study mechanical engineering. So given, recently has been a rise of what we call toxic workplaces, especially for internships where they pay you next to nothing and then they expect you to work as a full-time, they expect you to OT, that kind of things. So as a Christian, how do we manage or deal with this and respond to this?
Yeah.
And then on the flip side, if it's not so bad, what does glorifying God in the workplace mean? How do I glorify God with Excel sheets, kind of thing?
Hey, can.
Thanks for that question, Joash. Just very quickly, so you said you're doing an internship, and then you're talking about the you're looking to do internship, mechanical engineering, but it's a potentially toxic workplace. How do you deal with that? How do you glorify God as well, right? Yeah, you can go first. I had some thoughts, but I'll let you go first. I don't want to talk so much.
Okay, while you collect your thoughts. Joash, I'd question and I challenge you to think about what a toxic workplace is. I think the danger nowadays is with social media, right? I feel like a lot of words are bandied about. I think we really need to dig into what that definition is. Again, maybe because I worked in smaller businesses, I'm married to a business owner, I see the earnestness in getting interns. And truly, a business is not easy to run, right? There are a ton of overheads. There are costs that we don't even have to think about. For those of you who are employees, you should just be able to expect your salary at the end of the month. And for interns, there's a hope that somebody who is still studying, right, maybe not fully rounded in their skills, can come and contribute, but also hopefully learn something at the same time, right? And so because of that, naturally, the intern pay is normally lower. So there are logics around these things. I remember doing student attachments for like zero, right? In the end, it cost me because I had to go take the LRT and I have to go pay for lunch and stuff like that. So I'd really question and really think about it. Now, of course, if there are truly, crazy workplaces or like there's a dishonesty or I don't know what it is, right? Then true, I'm sure toxic workplaces exist. But I'd really encourage everybody and all of us to always apply that level of discernment, especially around kind of these things that can circulate around very easily. I think I take it from another perspective as well. I found I learned the most as an intern. And, I talked about the World Economic Forum top skills. Learning is a skill. And then when you're an intern, we're almost forgiven a little bit more because we're an intern. So I remember when I was interning and just doing part-time work, right? That's the time we really want to be a sponge for as much learning as possible. So that's when I encourage to not count the pennies too much. We're there to learn. And if we're exposed to situations that we might not otherwise have been exposed to, but we're only there because we're an intern, then why not go for it, right? Of course, you still need to sleep, you still need to eat, stuff like that lah. But apply discernment, but also make the most out of the internship. It's not just the money that we get out of it, it's the learning, right? It's the exposure.
Yeah, so it's kind of like you if you apply for an internship, you see what you can get in terms of your learning skills, not what you get in your bank account at the end of it. Because it's the learning part is the priceless part lah. Yeah. Hope that answers your questions, Joash. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, before I continue with like everybody's questions, all right. Pastor Miranda asked the group chat. She said it'll be good to cover the topic of quiet quitting. Then Sinhui said, "What is quiet quitting?" Not sure how you texted while you're like over here, but so what are your thoughts on it, lah?
Do y'all want to have a go and explain what y'all see as quiet quitting?
Yeah, who is familiar with what?
Sorry, Pastor Miranda said doing the bare minimum.
Oh, she answered it already.
Thanks, Pastor.
Thanks, Pastor Mer.
Okay.
So it's a phenomenon. A lot of people quiet quitting.
Yeah.
Is it?
Then I flip that question around again. If God was standing next to you, or if He was managing you, would He be proud of you?
But then again, I feel like if you say that, then like your employer is like your God or something.
No.
You don't see it that way?
No.
Okay.
Your employer is not your God. So then it comes back to the question of that toxic workplace, right? Then you have your values. You have your non-negotiables. You walk into a place and you have your non-negotiables. So, for example, if let's say work requires you to come on a Sunday morning, then you have those non-negotiables. And if your boss asks you to come into work and you know that, hey, I serve in church, I worship, I'm a, whatever, then the choice is yours to say, "Thank you, boss. Here's my resignation letter. Why are you resigning?" "Because I actually serve in church on a Sunday." If someone tells me that, whether you are a Christian, you are a Muslim or a Hindu, and you tell me that, I will have more respect for you because I say, "Oh, wow, okay, then maybe I take a step back." But that's me, right? So in terms of this quiet quitting thing, I think take that perspective. If God was managing you, or if Jesus was managing you, what would He say to you in terms of your performance, right?
I guess the thought to add is, at the end of our lives, right? We hope that when we see Him, what do we want Him to say? "Well done, good and faithful servant." What we hear is, what do we read in the Bible as well, right? He wants us to be a light. He wants us to be salty. He wants us to be salt, not salty. That's not at a Y there. Oh, there must mean something to this generation.
Yes, it definitely does.
Sorry.
I knew that.
So Gen Y. And He wants our lives to have an aroma, like the fragrance of God.
So, yeah, it's kind of like you want people or your colleagues or your schoolmates or your uni mates to say, "Hey, you are a Christian, ah? Oh, didn't know." Instead of, "Yeah, you're Christian, ah." It's that kind of a reaction, right?
Yeah. And from a pure kind of what's in it for me perspective, right? Because I don't know when I'll see God. Many, many more years to go. I'm so far away from that. If we want to take another perspective, right? Actually, if you do really well in any job you do, and I've felt this, right, personally as well, if your boss speaks really well of you, it always helps you in your next job. Always. You'd be surprised by how small the world is, yeah? Oh, this person only does the bare minimum money, right? Hey, really, what do you think of this person, right? Not like it always happens, right? But your reputation goes with you.
Yeah.
But I love that a lot because essentially then what you're saying is that weekends are not just when you serve God, but you serve God on your Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays at work. And when you do so diligently, that's when you excel and you shine your light, the light of Jesus, to other people around you at your workplace.
Yes.
That's essentially where you are put in for your missions, right?
Yeah. So that's why I'm part of, we used to be part of Accomplish, which is a workplace network made up of different Christians and believers and some pre-believers as well, where we are looking to see how we can bring God into the marketplace. So what I really liked about what Accomplish stood for was, how do you build people through business? And that's really how I've kind of done and shaped my businesses, to see how can I build people through the business. So I'll have one-on-ones with them, with my team, and say, what's on your mind? How do you think this can be done better? Or something like that. Yeah.
Wow, that's really good. Just to quickly add, when I am working in a startup, and just like you mentioned, Lily, in startup you do everything under the sun they throw it at you, ask you to do. So at one point I was thinking am I in a toxic workplace? Then I realized that actually no. And I think I came to realization because I feel like God really dropped me this verse in Colossians 3 verse 23. God says, whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord, not for human masters. Whatever that I do, whatever we do in our workplace, whether we are doing OT or whatever, we're doing it for the Lord. Amen. Yeah.
And you are known by your fruit, right? Because a flourishing tree, a flourishing plant will have fruit. If you are not bearing fruit, that means something is wrong. Yeah. There was another question over
Father,
here.
we just pray there's no fire in this building. Amen.
It's all cool, man.
Let's take maybe 2 more questions from the crowd.
Yeah.
Okay, you got one guy over there in stripes.
Okay, introduce yourself and mention what you're studying.
Hello. Oh, sorry. Hi. I'm Stuart.
Hey, Stuart.
I'm new to this church.
Nice.
Damn, I don't know where to start. Sorry. Okay, so I'm working already for 1 year.
Sure.
And I just officially graduated just a few months ago.
Right.
So I'll just start with I grew up as a very clueless kid, right? And I always don't know what to study after my high school. And
It's okay, same.
okay, so I just follow my what you guys said earlier about the honoring your parents and stuff. So I just listen to my mom or my parents whatever they suggest So I graduated with business marketing, and same thing. After that, I still don't know what to do. And like you said, they know you best because they've been watching over you for my whole life. So they recommended me to go and work in a corporate same as my father And 1 year in, I've been doing quite well. My parents like it. My boss liked me also. Her work was pretty good. So everything was fine. But there's a but.
I was waiting for that but.
Yeah. So the but is, even though the job might suit me, but I don't like it, honestly. I've always had a passion for music. I always wanted to be a rock star, but I know that's impossible. No, that's impossible in Malaysia, right? So yeah, and to, always had this debate with my parents, then just don't want to disrespect them, and now that I'm 1 year in, I don't know, man. So any suggestion for you guys?
You go first? Yeah.
Thanks, Stuart. I'm sure you are a rock star. So it's nice to hear how you see your parents recognizing your strengths, right? There's a concept that I think is really important for all of us, and that continues throughout our career, and that's self-awareness. And so I would encourage you to think about, yes, I'm aware I really like music, or I really like being a rock star. Kind of dig into that a little bit more. What is it about it that I like? Do I like holding attention and being able to command the attention of a room? Do I like public speaking? Do I like creating? Do I like what is it, right? Because maybe there's a space for you to fulfill some of those things you really like and marry it. That's ideal, right? Things we like plus things we're good at plus things that can pay money as well, right? That's like a nice trio. Maybe there's a chance for you to do that. If music is truly there, maybe for now as a practical point to pursue music as a hobby and kind of see where that goes as well. But as a practical suggestion, I think dig into that self-awareness a bit more. What is it that I feel I'm kind of missing? What is it that I really like? And break it down even further, right? Beyond just music, like deeper creativities, like working with different kinds of people who are equally creative. I don't know. Yeah, dig into that.
Yeah, I used to know a group, a rock band, when they would have their day jobs during the day, all living corporate work. Nighttime, on some nights, they will go to those jam studios, and they'll jam, and then they'll write songs and everything, they cut an album and everything. End up, I think they realized that is not what pays the bills, and they just enjoyed playing that music, performing, but yet, they still eventually found fulfillment in their sphere, in their workplace lah. So I think following up what Lily said, it could also be maybe working in a music company that manages artists, but you work in the marketing aspect, the business side of things, right? It could also be in an ad agency where you're working with talents, but in the marketing side of things. Yeah, so you never know. So I think it's just really going back and asking yourself, what is it that you really enjoy doing? Yeah.
I really hope that answers your question. All right, nice. Are there any other questions?
Okay, there's one here.
Some more?
Okay, we only have one last question.
Yeah, this will be the last
Go
one.
ahead. I think, yeah.
So sorry, Derek, you can post it on.
Derek had his hand on for long.
Okay, you can ask us later lah. We can stay on a bit. Yeah.
Yo, I love your shirt.
Thank you.
Yeah. How y'all doing? I'm Shane, graduated from construction management and also MBA. So I've been working quite some time, and I would say resigned. So partially retired.
Retired.
Yeah. So I used to work. So I used to work in a key account manager. So I would like to ask: have you ever reached to a point that your career draws you away from God? And if yes, how you get back on track? Because it's like you're earning quite a lot of bucks, and also having your own companies, and you've been busy so much. So what makes you continue looking for God?
You're asking me, or you kept looking at me. Okay, I think to answer that question, honestly, from my point of view, is I could never do what I'm doing without God. Honestly, I think like what my wife said earlier, Lily, I wake up 6 o'clock, some days 6:30, and really spend time with God, even though I'm really tired, but I just journal and read, completed the Bible reading plan as well, and just read. And I cannot imagine myself away from God, so to speak, because I really, key decisions, I really had to go back to God. For example, there are some months where I find it hard to pay myself a salary. I have to wait for the next month to do so, right? You really have to dig into God and say, God, bring in the people, help us. There's another competitor that just opened up down the street. How am I going to do it? I tell you, I got sleepless nights and all that. But I think it's good that if that's the role that you resigned out that was taking you away from God, it's nice seeing you here. It's nice being in a community like this. But then it's just to really get that foundation right first. Construction, right? The most important thing is the foundation. They spend months building the foundation first, and you get that right, then you start seeing the building coming out, and then that takes very long. But once the foundation is right, it's like a bamboo tree. The roots are really deep. Then you just see it at the top, and any storm that comes, it doesn't waver. So I think now that if you're in this position where you're in between roles, take this time to explore God in a different way. Someone did measure, a pastor did say before, and I've experienced that myself. The God that you experience at your lowest, it's the same God, but the God that you experience there in those moments is going to be very different to the God that you experience on the high. Because when you're at the lowest lows, man, that relationship you have with God, I would have it no other way. And having experienced that throughout the pandemic period, where I had no clue where the next paycheck is coming, it was just, like I said, I cannot go on with the current businesses that I'm running without having God in it. If you notice, my businesses, they all have very specific names. 633 Enterprise is actually from Matthew 6:33. Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and everything will be added unto you. That was actually our wedding verse. Seek wellness, seek ye first, right? Hope that kind of...
Okay, all right. So thank you so much for sharing. Can everyone please give them a round of applause? Yeah. So we're gonna end soon, very soon actually. And I think you guys had a last slide, right, that said something like, go to church.
Yeah, we can flash that up very quickly.
And be the church on Mondays.
Yeah. Bring the last slide up. Ooh. I think it's very in line with what we shared before, and what even David echoed, right? You come to church on a Sunday, but don't draw that line. We like to compartmentalize things, but be the church on Monday, because sometimes your colleagues, this is all they see, and this is how you are going to be that light in the marketplace. So I think that's why I have a passion in the marketplace and the workplace. Because you really get to journey with a lot of different people that may not necessarily have the opportunity to go to church. We are very privileged. We might have grown up in church, but there are some people who may not. Just very quickly, I resonated with this from an early age when I started following my dad to work during my holidays, because I would see tough nuts, people who swear like a sailor, and they'll come in and they'll pour their hearts out about family, about their challenges at home to my father. And my father would journey with them and just advise them and just kind of like give them some encouragement. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think adding on to that, we're not in this alone. I hope we all know that, right? Sometimes it may feel really confusing. I think it goes back to that worship song that we did. Was it today or like just now or in the main service?
Which
Give
one?
me Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
Was it just now?
Yeah.
Yeah, my memories were a bit warped. I wish us all Jesus. actually we just abide in Him, right? Just as He abides in us. And if we just stay in that place of abiding, you'll all do amazing things. You all will do greater things than Keith and I will ever do, right? He's built you differently. He's put so many amazing skills in you. And when we know that you will all accomplish amazing things, and it's okay if it feels scary sometimes. It's okay to some seasons you don't know what you're doing. But I wish us all Jesus, right? If we just walk with Him every day, it'll be the biggest adventure beyond our imagination.
Wow. Yeah. So good. Amen. Guys, before we even end, I really hope you guys take home something and be able to apply it in the decisions that you guys make as you guys navigate through careers and through studies. Before we even end, for Keith and Lily, what is, in one line, what do you think is one thing that you would like to say to everyone here to take home?
Abide in Him.
Abide in Him.
Yeah. Abide in Him.
What about you, Keith?
Oh, so many. One line, so hard. But I think it's really experience Jesus. Yeah, experience Him. Yeah.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much.
Okay, so we would like to pass the time to Pastor Miranda. But before that, let me hit a burial.
Yeah, we're going to take a be-real. So we're going to do this together,
Okay, everyone look here,
everyone
okay?
smile, yeah? Smile. So
Nice,
cute.
okay.
Nice.
Everyone give a round of applause for Keith and Lily. Thank you very much.
so much.
Hey everyone, thank you for tuning in to Campus Community, where we commune and connect in Christ through Christ-like conversations. If you would like to keep in touch with us, feel free to follow us on our socials at campuscommunity.sibkl. Do keep in touch and see you in our next conversation.